think we are. I think we are good to go. So let me just switch to a different viewpoint so you can actually see me. So here I am. Oh, let's
There you
see.
are.
There I am, and I'm going to get rid of. I had to bring me in as a guest last time. Nope, I don't want to do that. So no, I don't want to do that either. Oh, there's this one little thing that I'm having a little trouble with. So give me a second.
Mercury's in retrograde and it's been a little
Oh,
glitchy
I
this
know.
week.
Well, I don't want it to continue without me because you won't ever be able to see me. So I'm just going to switch my camera to camera. Here, I'll switch it to, there we go. Now I think I can see. And let me see if it'll let me go back to where I want to go. Hang on one slight moment. I'm going to go back to that first scene and then I can do it. An error occurred. Oh, okay. It was a different message than I thought it was, which is always funny. So let me just see if this will switch back over to me. It doesn't seem to want to do that. I have us on interview mode and I thought this was going to be so much easier, but of course, not so much. Okay, let me see if I can get that to go. Okay, so I've got my built-in. I've got you down there. I can see you. I may have to bring me on as a guest. That would be very, very weird.
Okay.
Because it's still not showing me, so I'm gonna do that. So let me see. Very, very weird. This is what happened. This is what happened to me last time too, and I couldn't get me on screen. So let me see if that'll do it. Oh, that's why. Drag me. Nope. There's my built-in camera, but it's still showing that. So I think Where's my camera? New camera. No. Nope. Not at all. Let me. No, that's not going to work either. So let me see if I can get me to come on. All the cameras. It just doesn't want to pick up me live. Here, I'm going to set that as a default camera. See if it will. But I have you on. I'm going to bring you on stage. So let me do that. I'll bring you up. And I should get you in the window here. Quick little thingy here. I know every time I think I've got it all worked out, something else shows up that is not what I'm thinking it is. So, let me see. Nope, don't want to do that either. Oh, that's bouncing on me. So I have interview on, and I've got that on. Camera A. But for some reason, I cannot get me to show as not a still image. I'm going to turn that off and see if I can get me to come back on. Okay. I know. So sorry, y'all. I'm still figuring this all out. So let me just see if I can get that on now. So you see. Okay, I've got that one on, but I want to switch it. I want to switch it so that we can see each other.
It would be nice.
It would be nice. I mean, you can see me, but nobody else can at the moment.
I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me either. Okay. Let me say finish on. Oh, I don't want to finish. I want to go publish. And no, I don't want to do that. Okay. use back on Zoom so I can see you. For some reason, it won't pick up my camera from where I'm looking at it. And I'm going to remove that placeholder. Let me see if I can do it from here. I'm going to spotlight me for a second. Nope, didn't like that either. Okay, let me see if I can get me in that way. Video. Well, it's showing my preview window, but I can't seem to get my other window to do its thing.
Huh. I wish I could help.
No, honey, it's okay. I will get it. I will get it. Okay, so it should be showing me. It's showing the guest camera, showing the actor speaker, but it's not showing me. And I do not see. Okay, Zoom capture. That part's okay too, and I've got it set to show me. And I've tried doing camera A and camera B, and it doesn't seem to want to do it. Well, that is just the weirdest. All right. Let me see if I can find one more setting, and I might be able to do that. So let me switch to that scene and see if that'll do it. Oh, I'm in preview mode. That could be it. So I want to show. That's supposed to be me live, but it isn't me live. Okay, show current application. Well, eCam. I am very, very puzzled why it's not doing that. So I know you can't see me, so this is very, very weird. I don't get why it's being so funky, but it is being very, very funky here. I am going to, let's see.
I wish I knew a good joke.
I know. I wish I could see one other, I'm going, what is the heck going on here? I'm trying to find something else. My video. Oh, I don't want to hide my video. That's probably why. Show me as an actor speaker. Okay. Let's see. Are you still not seeing me?
Correct.
All right. Video. Okay, eCam, that's the output. Not seeing any video. That would be true. Okay. Gonna do that. And okay, well, I may just be off screen then. So let me see if I'm just not seeing anything else that I should be sharing. It is definitely showing this, but it's not showing, it's only showing my background. Okay, camera, eCam. Here we go. There we are.
There you are.
There I am. But now I hope this didn't glitch my other goodie, but now I'm a little concerned. So, okay, make sure that's on, that's on. Okay. And we will do our very best. So now that we're here, now that you all can see, and I'm going to go ahead and publish that so we can do that. And welcome. It is the 30th of July, and I'm Judy M. Baker, and I'm the Queen Queen Bee of Book Buzz. And I have as my guest today, Joie Seldon. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to mentor Joie on camera. So she gets to ask me questions. But I think before we even go to that part, we want to be sure everybody knows who you are and why you're here today. So Joie, would you be so gracious as to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I am Joie Seldon, and I am the author of a book called Emotions: An Owner's Manual. It's obviously a nonfiction, and I put it out several years ago, and I've been doing this work, though, for around 20 years. I've been a coach, a career professional development, leadership coach, and now consider myself more of a life coach. I'm in the process of launching the Emotional Evolution Lab that'll come out in September.
Ooh.
I do training. I have a whole system of emotions that I've created, starting with my own journey from, oh golly, was it 40 years ago, where I was trying to be a movie star in Hollywood. Was pursuing an acting career, and I was broke. I didn't have my rent. I was standing in a room thinking, I have no idea what to do. I was absolutely clueless. I was frozen with despair, and I heard a voice say, God doesn't mean for you to be miserable. And I went, well, duh. And why am I miserable? And how can I not be miserable? And I made a vow to find out what the truth was about life. And over many years of personal growth and workshops and therapy and a lot of different work, I discovered that the through line of everything I had ever done was my willingness to feel my emotions and to turn towards them instead of deny them or turn away. And I did a lot of education around emotions. And then I had an epiphany at a certain point where, because of that work, I had finally had a relationship that I had always wanted. I was living in an incredible place in San Francisco. I was doing work as an actor and acting teacher. After I had quit for a number of years, I came back. And then it was like, now what? And I went to a consultation, and she said, well, what do you do better than anybody else in the world? And I thought, I can't answer that question. It's too intimidating. But before I could think, out of my mouth came, I feel. And I said, oh my God, my name is Joy. I think I'm supposed to teach people how to feel. And that was in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on that path ever since. So everything that I have developed, I created a system ultimately of really understanding what are emotions. I mean, most people don't even really know. When I ask the question, what are emotions? They kind of say feelings. And so I delve into the physicality of them, the biology, somatics, psychology, a little improvisational theater, and spirituality. And then I came up with Emotions: An Owner's Manual. And so that's the synthesis of the work that I do. And then I've been developing it even since I've published. So it's gotten even deeper.
Well, I think that's pretty remarkable right there. And we do have some things in common because I too have a theater background. And I think, knowing that we do have some access to things that other people don't have. They may not understand the difference between emotions and feelings because they aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very wonderful. So where are you in your, since you are bringing out a new program, but you still have your book, what made you want to talk with me today about how I could support you?
Yes, because two things. One is that I have never really promoted the book properly. I self-published.
Mm-hmm.
I even created my own audiobook that's on audible.com. I mean, I hired the recording engineer, and I recorded it. And so I self-published, through a company, self-publishing company, but I've never really done that third stage. I wrote it. published it, but I never did that third part that you're the expert in. And now that I'm bringing my work out onto a different kind of a new level, um, the book, it's all 5-star reviews, so I know it's good. I get rave compliments, but I don't, it's not out enough, and I want it to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already thinking about, either revising it, updating it, or writing a second book. And so if I'm going to do that, I really want the one that I have, which is a workbook. It's a resource book. A lot of coaches and therapists use it to help them with their clients and that kind of thing. So it's just, it would be a crying shame if it just stayed where it is. So that's why I'm here. I want the work to get out to people, especially in our times.
Well, and I do think it's a very valuable book, and you spoke at a couple of different groups that that's how we initially met. I met you through the Bay Area Consultants Network, and you're a good speaker. You have presence, but when it comes to book marketing, I know my sense is there's been some hesitation, and maybe we could explore that a little bit, because that may be the biggest thing going on.
Yeah, it's interesting because you bring that up, because I'm actually working in a launch course to help me launch my new emotional evolution lab, because marketing, as I'm a highly sensitive person, I'm obviously an emotional person, and so the marketing piece, I try different things, but somehow nothing has ever really worked, and then it lowers my confidence, so then I pull back. And then I try something else and it's like, oh, and then I pull back. And I'm at a stage now, I've done the work long enough, I'm old enough to say I know the value. And so I'm actually over a hump that really was there. So it was a psychological belief system, part of my own process of continuing to grow, that really got in my way, from really being more proactive.
Well, and it's not unusual. That's the interesting thing too. That's not an unusual situation. And part of the reason for that, I'm going to ask some questions about what you've done in terms of your marketing. Give me an example, something that you tried but didn't stick with.
I took, well, one of the courses, I think that we were also programs in, where it was about podcasting, being
Right.
on podcasting. And I have actually been on quite a few podcasts.
Yeah.
And people, they're always great. I get great compliments from the interviewer, but I don't sell books from it. I might sell a few, one or two, or I'll get one or two people on my list. So whatever it is that I've been doing, whatever I was doing, that I'm very articulate, but at the same time, somehow it's not coming across that it's something that people need to, have in their
Well, let's
hands.
dive into that a little bit more. I know that you have been on podcasts, and I know that you're well spoken, but if you were to look at which shows you were on, did any stand out to you as being exactly the right market, or was it maybe not quite the right fit?
That's a good question, because I try to be discerning, and when I was being proactive, and I have had a number where people have actually reached out to me, but I've been on quite a wide variety. I mean, from a professional organizer to business podcasts to more spiritual, like very esoteric, and I feel like I haven't like been able to find a way to get on those that have enough influence in the podcast, but also speak to my market, which I've only really come to realize is women. I work primarily with professional women, so I work with smart, ambitious women who are accomplished a certain level, and at the same time, as so many of us have suffered, my own journey is the same, from not growing up having society reflect myself back to myself and saying, yeah, you're valuable. You're an emotional, intuitive, and sensitive person. Come on and be part of society. We want
Yeah.
to hear what you have to say.
Oh, well,
So it's it's one of those territories too. I'm selling emotions, right?
I think there's been a very big shift in acknowledging where we are right now with our emotions, and that women in particular, especially people like you and me who are very sensitive, very intuitive, and I'm just gonna put it out there because I just found out that I am. But yes, I'm ADHD and I'm a 2E. So not only am I a little bit I mean, I've got lots of stuff always going on, which everybody who knows me already knew that. But in addition to that, there is this very high level of creativity, which also mirrors you, and a very high level of intelligence. And as you said, society up until recently, and even still, depending on what circles you're in, doesn't favor that because sometimes I think you might have this situation too. We get to the answer and then people want us to tell them how we got there. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now knowing this is making a huge difference. So now I'm slowing things down a little bit so people can catch up. And I have a suspicion because there's more awareness now about ADHD personalities and people being on the spectrum, and it really is about 40, I think between 41 and 43% are very, very clearly somewhere on that dimension.
And there is quite a spectrum.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I mean, I have one friend, and I'm not sure if you've met her yet. Yeah, I have one friend who's 3E. So she's also autistic. And she has dyslexia it's a very specific kind around numbers, but she's an engineer. So she figured it out. And that's kind of what a lot of women do. So as you look at, you can go back and look at all of those podcasts. So that's still valuable because as you and I both know, podcasts are evergreen. They don't usually disappear. And I mean, it's very odd when even if a podcast show stops producing, that someone takes those off the directories.
Right.
So you could go through and mine those for sound bites, because we did learn that from Nancy Jutton, and she was very, very smart about helping us define that. But I'm thinking too, now that you're much clearer about who you want to be in front of, that if you started looking for audiences in addition to, here's the podcast subject matter, but who's their audience, and paying attention to that, I would think because you have so much evidence of being a good guest, you could parlay that into getting into more of the shows that you will get a better result from. Now, here's another question about that. When you're on the show, what are you offering to people so that they would connect with you?
I was offering, I had a free thing on my website called How to Prepare for a Difficult Conversation. And that's a big thing that goes on with the coaching that I do in the corporate people in the corporate world is how do they talk to their boss or their colleague that's driving them crazy and that kind of thing. And I just recently switched it out to the first chapter of my book. Yes. And I'm going to be doing a free webinar in preparation for the course that I'm going to be launching. And I've decided to call the webinar Emotions and Owner's Manual Live.
Okay. We're going in the right direction. So you're rethinking, not that the content is bad, because that's not the issue. You have a beautiful book. It's physically very, very attractive. The writing is very well done, and the solutions that you're offering all make sense. But the missing ingredients, as you had said, it's not finding the people who can get the most from it. So,
Right.
so you've done podcasting and you're still, out there in that arena. What else
Mhm.
what else
Well,
might you have done?
I did a lot of speaking before the pandemic hit. And that's why I also sold books when I spoke, so I would have them with me, and so that was, um, that was one thing that I really enjoyed. I've never gotten really back into it
Mm.
since the pandemic. I kind of pulled way back, kind of reset myself, and where am I now? Because the business world, I launched an incredible course called Emotions at Work the week of the pandemic shutdown. So
Oh, oh
I ran
yeah.
it several times, and we had individuals from around the world. I've had people from around the world that loved it,
Hmm.
but we didn't sell it to corporations, which was our goal, was to do trainings for managers and people. So I'm now reconfigured all of that material and going to be Emotional Evolution Lab because I really believe we need to evolve emotionally. So speaking would be another thing to get back into because I love it. I enjoy it. And I did learn a lot from podcasting about how to be more succinct. And I'm learning more now about, when you know a subject so well, how do you say it in a way that actually speaks to what people need? This is the challenge rather than this stuff that I know, that I have all these tools and techniques and methodology and information, but people don't want to hear information. They want to get connected emotionally. So it's interesting. I can become very intellectual about my emotions work.
Oh,
So that's an interesting piece of it. But I think speaking, and I actually just got booked in to speak on it's not a summit exactly, but it's a series of presentations for people who've been in narcissistic relationships and to help them heal. So,
well, hearing that, I think there's just some things. I'm thinking it's just a bit of recalibration will help you. But something else that occurs to me, and I'm wondering if this might sound true for you as well. A lot of what we know about as marketing is not the kind of, it's not the way that you and I connect with people.
yeah,
It's artificial.
yeah.
And I realized that myself. After I did Nancy's course, I started studying with another mentor. And I was going along and I thought, well, this sounds right. It was about launching my course too. And suddenly I went, oh, this is bro marketing. I mean, with a capital B and a capital R and a capital O. There was way too much testosterone, even
Yeah,
though this was supposed to be heart centered. It went off the rails for me. And
yeah.
I won't mention the person who was my coach's mentor, but this individual, yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I discovered I had a situation where I was working with a coach, and then I found out who she was learning from, and it was like, oh,
Uh, yeah, it was
it's
like
not
they,
working for me.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm actually taking a course with conscious marketers right now,
okay.
and they work with a lot of really big name, amazing people, and so I'm finally kind of feel like I'm in a place where I'm learning more about how to message that's actually going to reach the people who are my people. I mean, and as much as I'd like everybody to evolve emotionally, not everybody's really that
Oh
interested.
gosh. Unfortunately, that is true, and we keep seeing it every single day.
Yeah.
But the good news is there are a lot of us who are conscious. And
Yes.
and
More and more.
these artificial like, oh, you've got to do Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and Pinterest and Instagram and be on podcasts and do blah, blah, blah. It just gets to be this huge shopping list. And
Hmm.
if you don't resonate with it, you'll try it and you'll do it for about 2 minutes and then you'll go, okay, I'm done.
Right.
I'm gonna go clean the closet. I'm gonna go for a walk. I am not doing that because it's not integrated with who you are. And this was the other just amazing thing. When I found out about my diagnosis, I mean, heck, most people find out when they're little kids. Now, I was tested for intelligence. They didn't know, they never thought girls had this, and it wasn't even labeled back then. They said,
Right.
it was all the. I mean, I was the one who took the boys who were acting cuckoo to the office. So I was on a first name basis with the principal, but they just thought they tested me for intelligence because I was daydreaming because I was so bored. I was, kind of crawling out the window. But where I'm seeing some changes now, that my system works with your nervous system, and instead of putting us into fight and flight
Mm-hmm.
or freeze, because all of those can show up if you're doing something you don't want to do. One of
Right.
those is going to take over, and your body
Right.
is not going to it's not going to let you do something that doesn't feel good for very long. So
Right.
when I discovered that, I said, well, okay, it's a conversation. Marketing is a conversation. Your brand and your brand message is integral to who you are. You wrote a book that is a slice of who you are. It's not everything because you have other things in
Mm.
your life. And you want to get in front of more people. You want to engage with them, because I'm hearing that very strongly from you. It's that engagement piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the thing that my icing on the cake, is synchronizing it. So think about this. If every time you were out there, just picture this. You go on a podcast. Then what are you going to do with that podcast? What have you done in the past? So you were on a show. What did you do after?
I promoted it because I didn't have a, I didn't have. I've only had one person actually send me a link, send me my own video of
Mm-hmm.
it that I could use, and said, "You're welcome to use pieces of this." So I did use pieces of it's clips from that
Yeah.
to my newsletter and to post. But I feel like I haven't done much other than just, promoting it through my newsletter and online.
Yeah. Now, think about this. If everything, you start with your message and build from there. If everything, it's like a layer cake. So everything works together. You can pick, from column A, column B, column C. So you have your book, you've got your speaking engagements, you've got these different things. What would it look like if everything was coordinated? I mean, and now I know you're a very fancy dresser. So do you have any orphans in your closet, or you've probably eliminated all the orphans. And if you don't know what an orphan is, you probably don't care what you look like if you're listening right now. So do you have any orphans in your closet?
Well, I have probably a few,
Very few.
some that have been in hibernation until I get back out and speak because I have my speaking outfits.
Yeah. But
And I, as I
most of
finally said, "Hey, I
yeah.
like wear something besides what I always wear."
But would you
But
say that
yeah,
you're
I would love that. I
yeah.
think that's a great. I mean, yes, that moving towards things, each thing feeds each other, so they're all connected and they're not just these separate. Because that's what I think I've done a lot of
Yeah.
is separate things.
That was common wisdom, that you did this big ramp up to launch your book, and then you do some promotion, and then if it doesn't catch fire, crickets. It's like you've done the thing, and oh, now I'm on to something else. But my system's different than that, because your knowledge didn't suddenly get funky like a bad carton of milk because there wasn't an expiration date. Your knowledge isn't time bound. It's life learning.
Yeah.
So this approach is very different in that, yes, there is book marketing, but there's also the brand, the brand, branding your book. Your course is going to be branded. It's this ecosystem. And once that shift happens, it's like, oh, I can relax now. I don't have to worry about it. And I I'm wondering if you've ever had that experience, or has it always been kind of like I'm sort of going against how I feel and what I know?
It's not so much going against it, but I think that it hasn't had that synergy of the different things, and it was so synchronistic that I said, I never promote my book through the newsletter, so I wrote a whole newsletter about it, and it was right after that I saw your email asking people to volunteer to be coach, and it was
Yeah.
like perfect. I jumped on that right away
Wow.
because I just realized I really want to bring the book into it because it is a resource. It's a thing that people go back to over and over again. It is timeless. And I put a lot of time and energy and money into producing it.
Yeah.
And it deserves to have that, but it really does need to be tied in to everything else that I do.
Yeah.
In coaching and in my courses.
Well, so I know you did a launch when you first wrote the book, but have you done any other kinds of celebrations along the way?
No.
Would you be open to thinking about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have friends. We have friends, and Jim Horan was someone we both knew. And Jim's book is still in the top 100 business books. Even though he's passed away, he wrote that book, I think it's now close to 29 years ago ish. Yeah. And when he wrote the book, he was broke ass. He was out of work. He, knew accounting. He didn't know how to write, but his friends encouraged him to do that. And then over the years, not only did he develop his program, but he did different flavors of that book. And so he did one, companies would say, well, we want to teach everybody in our company, or we want to teach everybody in this department. And so there's lots of things that you can consider. And I mean, okay, perfect example. And I moved them again. I moved something again. So I'm just gonna go grab it. Go ahead. No, ask me questions.
Well, I was thinking because the book has the 4 foundational emotions out of which all other feelings come, but there's 7 in my system. So I have never written anything about the entire system. So then I'm debating, do I write a whole other book, or do I write a supplement to this? How do I handle that? Because when I was writing it, it felt cumbersome at the time, and it is something very, very beautiful about having just these 4 to take in at one time. But the 7 is there's some great stuff about the other emotions.
Well, you're making me think, and this is how I'm approaching the book that I have, because I was working on it, and I had created a workbook for a course I did. And then I thought, I can just publish that, because everybody said, this is so good, you can just publish it. And I said, but yeah, if you haven't taken the course, it's going to be kind of, it's not going to give you enough of the foundation. It's great if you already know, but if you don't, you don't. So I started working on it, and I was expanding it, and I was going, oh my God, I'm doing what I normally would do, is I take a small project, and it fills up the whole window. And then I said, Judy Baker, pay attention. Okay. And I think you're going to recognize these. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when Deborah and I first started working on her project, she has a manual, which I also have. It's uglier than sin, but anyway. The original one was, but I have This is one of the versions of it. Okay, so she was teaching this course, and it was a physical course, and I said, "Oh, this is just yeah, it's hard. It's hard to digest. I had trouble with it, even though I've known the information for a really long time." And so I said, before we investigate publishing like a 350-page humongous project, why don't we pick one part that you're comfortable with, and let's do a trial with smaller books. So what happened was she started with the self-help for students and teachers, and the one for parents and kids and parents. And then Ruth Schwartz and I got her finally to do the one that we told her to do from the beginning, which is the one for adults. But what this is, the content is pretty much the same, but it has a wrapper around it. So each of the books has a different introduction, and it has some additional resources, but the information is the information. And so I said, well, I'm going to do 4 smaller books to start, and one on the B for branding and messaging, one on engagement, one on expansion, one on synchronization, and then I will also have a box set down the road. Plus, I've already got the workbook. So the workbook, I kind of did it backwards, but that's the story of my life. What can I tell you? So what I'm hearing from you, I would start doing some, testing of that idea, and find out, and you said you've got reviews. Do you know how many book reviews you had? I forgot to check that.
Oh, I had the number the other day. I don't know, 20.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's too
25.
That's
I
too
don't
few.
remember. They're all 5 stars, but they're very, very small.
Yeah, that's not enough. Unfortunately, Amazon and any of the other retail places where people buy, the algorithms don't kick in at that number. It used to be that was great, and you would have been golden and you would have been seen. But because publishing has changed so dramatically, the number of books has increased substantially. And I heard another number. I don't even want to say it because it makes my head hurt. But on average, there's about 3 million, at least 3 million new books published every year.
Oh my God.
So the odds of your book, the odds of any book being seen is not very big. If you're not already a known author, if you're not already if you're not throwing lots of money at it, and which I don't advise, I just don't, because I think it's feeding the companies that are taking the money. It's not feeding your soul, and it's not feeding your audience. But if you look at, okay, so I had 25 reviews, so they're 5-star reviews. But who else is in my network who has read the book, but they haven't done a review? So you can do things to encourage people. And
that's something I've been curious about, is how do you get people, because I've sold way more books than that.
Yeah.
I've sold the books over the years. And how do you get people to leave reviews, even if they buy them from me personally? I know it's not an authentic purchase on Amazon, but they can still leave a review.
They can. And I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people think, oh, if it's not a review on Amazon, it doesn't count. Let me tell you, that is not the case. Most of the books that I purchase, I've heard them recommended on a podcast. A friend told me about them. Our friend Ted Perdomo and Tom Ruick do the Mastermind Book Club. And so they, the members say, let's do this book next month, and everybody reads it. and they discuss it. And they actually had the author, this last one, which was about ancient wisdom or ancient with modern wisdom, ancient practices. I'm probably just butchering that all to heck. But what was interesting when I'm looking at books, I'm going, how much time do I have? Am I going to spend my time with this book? And I'm mostly doing audiobooks now. I'm very honest about that, because I listen to them when I'm out hiking and doing things. But when you're trying to get people to review your book, you just told me something that you have some hidden gold right there. So do you have the names of all the people who've bought the book from you directly?
No.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, I was hoping you were going to say yes. But
Some, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'll bet a lot of them are connected to you, and you have a newsletter. You've got a mailing list.
I have a lot of people on LinkedIn, connections on LinkedIn, and
So, what do you think you
really
might
do.
do? What do you think you might do to encourage people to give you a review?
I can certainly put it out in my newsletter and say, anyone who's read my book, please leave me a review. I can just put it out even on social media, and yeah, I mean, that would be the first step.
That is a really good step. But you said you're launching a course, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what if you told people, how might you marry those two ideas?
Bribe them?
Well, it's ethical. We're talking about ethical bribes,
A discount on the core, or buy the book, give me a review, and you'll get so much off of
Yep,
the course.
absolutely. I mean, look at the masters who have been exceptionally good at getting people's emails, including yours and probably mine, because they said, "Oh, here's my book. You can get it for free. Just pay postage. Fill out this form."
Yeah.
So instead of selling a book for, $13, what they've now done is they've now got a lifetime connection with their audiences, and now you can do the marketing. So in the future, you want to be thinking about, if I'm selling something, I want to know who I sold it to, and to find out, well, what did you like best about it, and what else do you want? And I know it seems it's like a blinding flash of the obvious, but it really wasn't. But it's only been a very short time that we've had these intermediaries acting as the gatekeepers for selling our products. And more platforms are now emerging that allow us to be in control, have those emails, have the relationship with the people who are buying things from us. And because of that, we're seeing not just in the fiction world. I mean, Brandon Sanderson definitely tipped everything upside down on its head. But he isn't the only one. So his is fantasy and fiction, but I'm seeing it in nonfiction too, that people are either doing a Kickstarter campaign or they're selling directly. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. So in addition to those big behemoths that everybody knows their name, the fact that we can now sell directly to our audience, capture the information, and have the opportunity to say, hey, tell me what you liked. Did I miss anything? Is there something else you want? So that you now that's the engagement part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's already sparking kind of ideas about how I could be more proactive. And I even thought, well, maybe I could do some research of spiritual or personal growth book clubs and say, I'll send you a free book, or I'll show up for your book club. If you use my book, I'll come and do a private session with you.
Absolutely.
But they have to give reviews.
Well, and that's the thing. You can say, hey, if your book club, if I get 10 reviews from your book club, I'll come and do something with you live. That is totally legit. And I think a lot of it is, it's just not how we were brought up. Really,
No, I was brought up to keep myself as small as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But invisible isn't working, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But thank God I've been, I get more visible all the time. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Well, I think you've got some really concrete steps you can now take, and it just start by doing a brain dump and just and then organizing it and say, okay, if these are, let me just blue sky all the different ways I think I could do this, and then look for the ones that cluster together, that resonate the most with you. Start with the stuff that feels most like you, and then work outward from there. I mean, I even met someone, this blew my mind. I never would have even thought to do it. He was selling his book, which he wrote for his son, who is hearing impaired. He was selling his book on Etsy because he didn't know any other place to sell it. And he's selling lots of books on Etsy. Where do people go to find cool stuff? Etsy. Where do they go to find handcrafted stuff? Etsy. So people are selling books on Etsy.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. And so when I heard that, I went, oh, how interesting. And so that kind of opened me up too, because I'm always looking at oddball things to do. When you're a book, and yes, thank goodness you all can't see my bookshelves because, well, I'll just tell the truth. I have bookshelves in every room in my house except for my bathroom. It's the only place you can escape. We had so many cookbooks that we can't even have them all in there, in our kitchen. So if you think about that, if you are one of many, it's a little harder to stand out. But as you said, if you start looking for where are some niche places that definitely would like this, and well, Joy, what kind of organizations are you a member of that might respond?
I mean, currently I'm in a year-long program called Your Year of Miracles, which is awesome. It's been fantastic, and I'm getting a very big endorsement from someone there, and I'm in this course. So I used to be actually in the SFA area coaches group, and I was on the board of directors there, but I haven't been out in a group since the pandemic, really.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. I feel like I want to, because I do really well when I do them in person.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw you having books fly off the table. So I know for a fact that's true.
So I need to get out. I need to get out more.
But you can start with warming up those relationships, because you invested a lot of time, you gave a lot of yourself, and then you can just start moving, start with those folks and say, where else do you think? Do you know of anyone, do you have a group that you think would be a good fit for me?
Yes. Yes.
And
I have been more proactive in asking for reviews, asking people. And I actually am thinking now, some friends of mine, I know I've read the book, that I need to call them up or send them an email and say, hey, I don't see a review for my book on Amazon.
Yeah, did it get lost in the ether? Where is it, by the way?
Where is it? What happened?
Well,
So awesome.
I know. And
This has been great.
honey, the thing is, you can tell people they can give you a review in a lot of different places. So you want people to give you reviews. I mean, Amazon is okay,
Goodreads, do you think Goodreads?
Oh my gosh, yes. And you
Yeah.
know what happens if you put a review on Goodreads? It goes on to Amazon. And I will tell you why I know this for a fact. So Robbie Samuels just released a new book. And I did kind of a mega review. And I kept going, Robbie, I know I've done it and I can't see what's going on. Amazon hasn't posted it. What the heck's going on here? I said, okay, I'm doing an end run here. I went, put it up on Goodreads, and I did a video review as well. And now my review on his book is the #1 most helpful. It's been rated. Everyone loves my review. And I just was persistent as heck. But sometimes the technology isn't on our side.
Yeah.
But, there are book reviews on, you're on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. Think about other places, and you can say, just like you tell people they can buy your book at different locations, they can put the reviews up and just ask them to send you a copy.
Great. Yeah. Great. I have captured all of them in a file. So that's been very helpful in me looking at my marketing wording and things.
Yeah.
What is it that resonates with people?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you, I don't want to keep you longer than I promised, but I'm wondering, does anything really stand out to you that you can see you'll be able to take action on right away?
And I thank God I have a great VA. I can get her tasking some of this stuff. But I'm going to have to sit and take it in, and this will be posted on.
Oh,
LinkedIn,
yes.
So I can watch it and remind myself. I took some notes, but I didn't want to be distracted. So I think that the biggest thing is just opening up to seeing that there's a lot of possibilities, and it doesn't have to be daunting. And I can start with just asking the people that I know and going to my newsletter and even asking on LinkedIn, if you've read my book, please leave a review and let me know. I have sent books to people sometimes as sort of a promotional thing. In fact, I just recently sent my book to a couple of different people. And I can say, hey, if you have read enough of the book to, I'd love it if you leave me a review, and just be a lot more proactive, and then to start doing more posting and engaging and things like Goodreads, and just use the book as more obvious in all of my work for now, and then also the podcasting thing.
Absolutely. I think what I would suggest too, because I always want to measure results, and so that that it's actually effective. I mean, let's face it. If you don't,
Not my strongest suit.
Well, okay, but Buckminster Fuller said, "What you measure matters." So if you, it can be as simple as, and I have a yellow pad. Oh, except I don't want to bonk my microphone. It can be as simple as a sheet of paper, and you just write down, today I have X number of reviews, or I have this many followers. One of the things that we learned from Nancy was on our speaker sheets, we want to have social proof of our accomplishments. And so you start with, here are the numbers today, and then look at them. Maybe once a week, once a month, but you'll start to see the more you put a little bit of time in. I mean, and this is the other secret that I have. If you could budget 30 minutes in the week that you solely use for your book marketing, what do you think would happen?
it would improve sales and engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't
Where
really,
you put your attention, energy goes. It's a eat out, sheet out with a qigong.
it totally is. And when I'm
Yeah.
saying 30 minutes, that could include I'm going to have a conversation with my VA and we're going to talk about these things. So you budget 30 minutes. You can budget more, but if you only budgeted 30 minutes for the week and then you put it on your calendar, these are the days I'm going to do these things. So you write it down, you make a commitment, you measure, you start to see patterns and you start to see results. And because our little ADHD brains like dopamine, when we get a gold star because we did what we said we were going to do, we do it again.
Yeah. That's great. That alone, I think, is probably going to be the most valuable thing you told me today. Because I do believe that. Yeah. And someone wise said to me recently, intention without attachment. So set the intention. And that's what what's been building in me around the book is my intention is more people need to have it in their hands because it is something they can refer to. There's exercises, there's guided meditations. If you have the audiobook, you get guided processes and guided meditations, and so it's a thing that you don't just read and move on.
Yeah.
And so the intention, but without the attachment, how big it has to get or how fast or anything, just keep putting the energy in, and that 30 minutes a week, I am committed to that 100%.
Wow. There are so many more things I think we could come up with, but I don't want to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I know where to find you.
You do know where to find me, and I do strongly recommend that we continue this conversation because I can help you with the accountability part. The thing that you just said is the secret. The real secret is you want to get this out into more people's hands. And when you focus on this is my purpose, all those other things will flow right into your activities. If you don't know your why and it's something outside of you, it won't stick. It just won't stick because it's somebody else's idea, it's somebody else's goal, it's somebody else's whatever. But when it's your intention, when it matters to your heart and you do the things that support what matters to your heart, then everything is so much easier. And it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel artificial. It doesn't feel like, it's not that, I've got to go clean out the refrigerator.
And I really come to finally realize that I can do it as myself, who I am. Like you bringing up ADHD, I just actually was coaching a woman who has ADHD, and there's so much struggle there. And so there's some simple things that can just shift the visceral experience of what's going on. And so it's really powerful. Anyway, thank you so much. We all get to be who we are, right?
That is the absolute truth. I mean, that's where I start with every author. It's who you are is fine. Who you are is absolutely wonderful. And if you share who you are, people who resonate with you will be attracted. The ones that don't matter.
That's right. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Well, Joy, why don't you, I will be putting it in afterwards, but why don't you tell people how they can find you? And if there's anything else you'd like to tell folks as a last thought?
Well, you can certainly connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love that. My website is my name, joieseldon.com, and it's JOIE, like Joie de Vivre, Seldon.com. And you can get the first chapter of my book there for free.
Oh, well, that's pretty juicy.
And love to hear from anyone. Absolutely. And I think the thing that I would always like to leave people with a message is that your emotions are your friend. They are your guide. They are there for you. And at their heart, there are no negative emotions. There are only our responses to them that create negative situations. It's not the emotion itself. So they are a tremendous resource for us, and we can really improve our lives by being in touch with them.
Oh, my dear, I really appreciate that. And I'm so grateful that you shared time with me today. And I will be giving you an edited version of this, but it is up there live. It'll be up on It's on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, so people can find it. But I will tighten it up a little bit, and we'll get rid of the in the beginning, and I'll figure out what it was. I finally found the thing that I needed to change, but it was not where I was looking for it.
Right.
But what I want to offer too is if you know other authors who are either thinking about writing, are in the process of writing, or they've published a book, I can work with anyone, any place in their career. Because if we're talking before they published, I can help them avoid some of the, pitfalls, the potholes.
Mhm.
And if they've already published, there's some things to do to, kind of refresh your book, bring it back to life, get it into people's, heads and their hearts. And people who are in the process of writing, it always makes sense to talk to people in the publishing industry who can help you and make sure that your book is going to be the best expression of you that it can possibly be, and that it's going to fulfill what you hope it will fulfill. That if you're looking to help build your business as well as to help people solve problems, there may be some things that you're doing that aren't going to make that as easy as it can be. And knowing that you're the chief number one marketing expert for your book, I'll help you with that. So you can always find me at buzzworthybooks.com, and I'm Judy M. Baker. And thanks for sharing time with us today at the Buzzworthy Books Power Hour Live. And with that, I'm going to end the broadcast. So thank you. And I've got to go back to listen. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Recording.